Hey guys, here in South Central Alaska, it is mid-July and this has been an absolute bumper crop of a year for wild geraniums here in South Central Alaska. I've never seen them quite so prolific as they have been this year, but this is a really underrated and important plant here in our pharmacopoeia. Wild geranium has been traditionally used by many different tribes in the lower 48 and up here in Alaska for thousands of years. So many different parts of this plant are useful. Personally, I like the flowers for tea. They also make a wonderful face wash. You can use them, they're very astringent for a face wash. The leaves can be eaten. They are a little bit bitter, but mostly the leaves and the roots are used in preparations for things like diarrhea, ulcers, sore gums, mastitis, toothache. There are so many different uses that I've researched on this plant. It's just amazing. I don't typically gather the root myself unless I have an immediate need. This is one of those plants that I would classify as a wilderness medicine, use as needed in the bush. So I don't usually keep it on tap, but the flowers I definitely always have for, I dry for my wild tea blend. But wild geranium, it's very easy to recognize these flowers. There's nothing that really looks very similar. This plant right here is about 3 feet tall, and the leaves can be confused. Early foragers can confuse this with monkshood. They look similar. Wild geranium leaves, though, are much more fleshy and full, and the deadly monkshood are a lot more thin and wispy, but they do have similar, almost to delphinium leaves as well. So just want to make sure before the flowers come out that you have a positive ID before you gather these. But just so many different uses for these guys. It's definitely well worth gathering some and having some on hand, and at least when you're in the backcountry, if something happens, you get sick, you get injured, then you have access to this. Again, the root is the most commonly used for medicinal preparations. Something to keep in mind is that this plant has been used as a contraceptive internally for different native tribes in the lower 48. So if you are pregnant, don't use this herb. If you're trying to get pregnant, don't use this herb. And yeah, the wild geranium here in Alaska, there's just lots of them this year. Absolutely gorgeous. Good to know and have this little plant in your tool belt.